Hi, it's Mike. Welcome back to Mike's Diabetes. Let's just get something out of the ordinary. Since I haven't been feeling great, I just want to show you where I'm at. I haven't eaten today. Blood sugar is at 79 and fully calibrated. All along here, the corrections and my calibration rate. I've been sitting around 8 all day. The height of the time is 8.5. The low being 7.7. So, time in range, da 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 da, is 84%, which is super. 16% above, 84% below makes 100. And then average sugar in millimoles is 8.0. So this is a pretty good day. Today, I want to go into story time. Just let me get rid of this. Okay, story time. I went through a period where I wasn't in a chair. This was pre-chair, that I could go out, in the neighborhood. I can remember a friend calling me for a barbecue, and I would head out. I had a low then. I had a low all over the lower mainland. Well, if Mike doesn't show up, he's had a low. That's where things usually happen. Now, this one time, for some reason, I was in downtown Vancouver. And while I was downtown, I had my service dog. And I went super low, super fast. My blood sugar started to drop. I didn't know what else to do. So I was out roaming around and my blood sugar drops. And sorry, this time has to be after wheelchair. I was in a wheelchair, so remember this. Anyway, I passed out and someone called me an ambulance. You're an ambulance. No, I'm not. So they called me and called the ambulance. The ambulance shows up. I can remember seeing the ambulance, but not really knowing what's going on. I'm waking up. The ambulance is there. I sort of know what's going on. Nico, my dog, is barking and butting his head, and he's trying to indicate to me that my blood sugar is low. So one of the ambulance drivers pulls Nico away. And of course he starts barking. And one of the ambulance drivers gave a command, and Nico sat down and laid down. Great. Nico was my black lab assistance animal. So they loaded me up into the back of the ambulance, and I wasn't really coming to. I sort of was, but I wasn't. And an ambulance driver says, your dog is safe. And I'm thinking, now things are starting to click. What do you mean my dog is safe? Where's my dog? This dog was my lifeline. And the ambulance driver said, he's following us with your chair to the hospital. Okay, so I get there, I get to the hospital, and they go through the whole thing, and I'm coming to, they're starting to, feed me grapefruit juice, not grapefruit juice, cranberry juice, grapefruit juice, and I really start coming up. And then my wheelchair arrives, and there's Nico. And of course, Nico's like, oh, you're alive. You're alive. I can see you. You're alive. He jumps up on the bed. He lays down, and he goes to sleep. He is with his master. He's done okay by himself. He really got what he needed. He was really okay at this point. I was okay. I was coming out of things. Vancouver Hospital says to me, who takes care of your diabetes? And I went through and I said, at that time, it was Clarissa, my doctor, and they said, okay, we're going to send you to Vancouver, to New Westminster by ambulance. I don't know why they just didn't keep me there. I could have got friends to come pick us up, but okay. So again, myself into an ambulance. My wheelchair, my dog went with another ambulance driver in a taxi following us. Okay. They determined this was the best care. So I ended up in emergency in Vancouver. The head nurse at this time said to me, and I'm sort of lucid now, I'm still kind of groggy, but I'm with it. And when we arrived, she said, oh, that dog can't be here. Who can we call to get rid of the dog? And she had, in my cubicle, she had Nico sitting off, and Nico's sitting up, starting to bark, because I guess I was still giving off pheromones or whatever it is that the dog tracks. And I finally said to this head nurse, this is my service dog. He's not a pet. Couldn't tell this by the vest he was wearing. And finally she conceded, and I had Nico up on my bed and falling asleep again. It wasn't until I was actually admitted to the hospital that Nico was taken to someone's home and they would care for him. But when you go to the hospital, be it if someone calls because you're low, expect that you're going to be on an IV, maybe two, but definitely one IV. You're going to have sugar water coming through the IV into your blood. Perfectly safe, perfectly normal. For the first couple of minutes, after you come up. You're going to feel like people are sort of talking down to you. They're just talking slower, trying to give you a chance to hook up, or not hook up, but understand what they're saying. Yeah, right. They're really trying to hook you up. Not bad night, bad. But they're not going to try to give you insulin if you're on the pump. Now, I've mentioned I've done how does my pump work video. And in this video, I talk to you how the pump works. The pump gives you basal rate and it gives you bolus. For 2 hours, if you drop below 3.9, your pump will shut off giving you insulin. It will start up 2 times, and your blood sugar is below 3.9 and you come up and you hit 5, it's going to come up and stay on. If you come up to 5 and then you drop below 3.9 again, it will automatically start and stopping insulin. This is designed to make sure you're not going to get an overdose of insulin. So these pumps are good. When you go into emergency, they're going to say something like, did you disconnect your pump? If you're on the Medtronic 780 or a comparable pump, you should be saying, the pump shut off, it'll start when I'm at 5. I don't want to disconnect because your blood sugars are going to go through the roof. You don't want that. So I usually keep mine on, and it doesn't come a prevalent point. Whatever caused me to go low, whether I got more activity or I ate less or whatever, has gone. And usually your whole treatment for low blood sugar in the hospital had got your blood sugar up, and they're just going to monitor you. I have been through so many low blood sugars over the years that when I have to go because of a low blood sugar, I usually say, can I sign out? But if it's been your first, second, third, maybe even third time, make sure, let them go do all their testing. You're going to get a chest x-ray. You're going to get a stomach x-ray. You're going to get lab blood work. You're going to get a heart EKG. So allow all these tests just to make sure they're not hiding something. For me, this time I had nothing. But later lows, they found that I had a stomach issue, which was causing me to go low, so I was kept in the hospital. But usually you wait there probably about 4 or 5 hours, and you're released. If you come in by an ambulance, you'll be pushed in the ambulance. If all the beds are taken, you're going to be standing with your ambulance drivers who brought you in. If they let you go, and the nursing team will take over at that point. Let them do their job. For me, I've been through it so many times, and I know sitting there waiting, they don't do anything for me anymore. So let's just go back home. So that's my story. Remember, if you're being your first, second, or third time being in a hospital setting because of a low blood sugar, stay until they say you can go home. Okay? With that, have a great day and we'll talk later. Bye now. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me